Hi, this is Ravi Rose, founder of Iru. Super pleased to be here with Jim Lisi, who is a business valuer in California and predominantly living in Santa Barbara. What we wanted to talk about today is the difference between a CPA, a CDFA, which is a Certified Divorce Financial Analyst, and the work that Jim does. Every single profession has different roles and responsibilities. And it's very important to understand the differences between all three so that you can carefully decide which ones you're going to hire to help you with your business and help you on the personal side, and how to blend the two together to make sure that your goals and your aspirations can be achieved by properly having defined, let's say, a divorce agreement, which really outlines everything properly, by making sure you cross your T's, you dotted your I's, you looked at all different cases and situations and scenarios to try to prevent as much as you possibly can. So Jim is here with us. Thank you for being here to provide us some guidance and direction after your many years of experience doing business valuations. Would love to hear your thoughts of what are the differences between all the roles and maybe some ideas and examples of cases that you've worked on when it's related to divorce.
So yeah, I do the valuation piece. The CPA does the numbers, and this all starts with the CDFA, who is your overall coach and game planner, right? So the CDFA is trying to pull all the pieces and do a holistic picture and bring in the tools that are necessary to come up with a solution, a resolution, a separation, um, so with the CDFA, I partner with them as one of their tools, and my job is to come up with a number for the business or for half the business, and the two things can be slightly different. And a CPA is responsible for the numbers, and really there's two roles there, and they're very important. We need to have a good set of books. And if a business doesn't have a good set of books, it's hard to value it because you're now kind of going on hearsay as opposed to reality. It puts the court in a difficult spot too. So they have to then drill down and try to figure out what the facts of the case are. And so the facts of the financial statements are what drive a big portion of the valuation, because those numbers, the revenue and the profit, determine how valuable the business is. And then the other role that a CPA can take is called forensic accounting. So in a case where the numbers aren't trustworthy, we want to go investigate those numbers. We want to check behind the scenes, check to see that the bill was actually paid. And, in most cases, if we have a trusting relationship between the two spouses, we don't see that happen, right? But when there's a lack of trust and when you see big changes in performance or numbers, then we need the CPA to do forensic accounting. And so they're going to actually investigate and try to find out where the cash is coming and where the cash is going, and trace down those pieces. And then there's a third part, which is called a quality of earnings report. And the CPA can also do a quality of earnings report. And what a quality of earnings report is the business going to be repeatable? So if you have a customer, let's say you work in mines and you have your customer is a mine, but that mine has gone bankrupt, right? And you have $100,000 worth of revenue per year for the last 5 years from that customer, but they've just gone bankrupt. That number needs to be taken out of the future revenue. So that's a quality of earnings report. And the same thing works in reverse too. If we have cash or other things that are coming into the business has earned money and it's not showing up on the financial statements, the quality of earnings report is going to find that also. So those are the three pieces that the CPA role is really important for. One is good structure, give us books that make sense and the pieces are in the right place. Investigate the findings, the truth of the matter, and then tell us what's real and what's changing in the books. So once those processes are done, and sometimes you don't need the second two processes, I get the books and I transform those numbers that are there from financial numbers to economic numbers. And out of the economic numbers, I can go to markets and get market data and come up with a value for the business.
So this is really important for either the individual, the parent who is actually running the business, or let's say the stay-at-home mom who doesn't really understand numbers, and is working with or through her lawyer to try to understand what's going on with the business. So it's very, very important to use the right professional at the right time to get the right information. Don't rely on your lawyer to give you financial numbers and projections and all these things that Jim does or the CPA does. They won't know how to do it. I guarantee that they're going to make mistakes and they're not going to give you accurate information. And you will end up regretting it. You're going to come back, you're going to relitigate, and it's going to cost you a fortune. So the smartest thing is, if you don't understand numbers, hiring these individuals is the smartest thing you can do. So now you're not relying on your emotions, you're relying on logic, on facts, on numbers that is on a piece of paper. Both of you as the parents will see the exact same numbers. You could have it explained to you in from any of the professionals who are completely neutral. They're not taking sides, they're really there to share numbers with you. You take that information to your lawyer, or hopefully you guys are mediating out of court, and you go to a mediator and you say, these are the things that we've discovered, these are the different numbers, these are the things that we want to include in our divorce agreement to ensure that we can actually have this plan of action. And then your mediator will go and draft it through a lawyer, or maybe they'll do it themselves, depending, and then you'll have accuracy. So a lot of people feel like, oh, I have to run to a lawyer. I have to get myself a badass lawyer to protect my business. Well, the lawyer is going to help you on the personal side of things, but not necessarily on this side. Anything related to business valuations, like, division of assets, anything related to numbers should be spoken with and discussed in advance with the right professional. So that transparency, that openness, that communication is critical if you want to save time, money, and stress. And you really want to protect your wealth and make sure that you don't make the lawyers richer at your own personal expense. Any other
Oh,
thoughts?
can I jump in just on we'll take it now, we'll flip it a little bit and we'll say, how about the CPA doing your valuation? So there are firms that do forensic accounting and valuation work, and I'm biased, right? So I think you need a pure valuation person to do your appraisal. They would say differently, but the thinking is different in between uh, an accountant doing a valuation and an appraiser doing the valuation. The accountant is usually looking backwards, and the business value is all based on future revenue. So just that first piece is a difference in viewpoint that is important. And for a spouse that has been invested in, let's say, a company that's gone from nothing to something and hopefully will become something big, um, that investment into by the marriage in the business has been made, and the benefit is in the equity that's already put into the business.
Mm.
So um, you're not going to get that kind of response from a CPA or a forensic accountant that's doing valuation. The other thing about divorce valuations coming from people doing the forensics that I've seen regularly is they don't truly value the business. They don't appraise the business. They just run numbers. And there's two problems with just if you just run numbers, you may not be making the right adjustments. You have to adjust not only the business that you're looking at as a valuer, but you also have to look at the data that you pull, and you have to adjust the data in the same way that you're adjusting the subject company of that's being valued. And for the most part, they don't do that. And then the other thing I see them do is they'll cherry pick data for one side or the other. And I don't as a guy who just likes to split it down the middle and be truthful, it's hard for me to look at that stuff and understand how somebody with a professional designation can actually do that, but it's done. So um, the easy way to adjust numbers or bias numbers is just to move them around a little bit in and not be able to see what really is the reason for it. So um, so just going to recircle back. The forensic accountant doing valuation is a number cruncher, not truly valuing the business, where someone who does valuations will actually look at where the business is headed and value it based on that.
Love that. Thank you for that explanation. So if you are in California, whether you're contemplating divorce, whether you're already separated, whether you're working with a mediator or a lawyer, and you're looking for more information and accurate information in regards to your business, please do feel free to reach out to Jim. All his coordinates are here below, and I'm sure he'd be delighted to provide you consultation to help you and see if and how he could assist you in this matter. Thank you so much for being here, Jim, and thank you for all this wonderful wisdom. And thank you all for watching. Until the next time we speak, I wish you all a day that matters. Take care, everyone.